Simpson, to be followed by Sandra White.
Thank you very much. Can I thank Ben McPherson firstly for securing this important debate and for his considered contribution. I suspect we're all going to agree on the subject today because there is cross-party consensus on the need to act. There can be nothing more important than having a roof over your head, than having warm, comfortable, well-maintained housing, a place to call home. It affects our well-being, physical and mental. Good housing is a good society. The focus of our housing debate in Scotland has largely been around the delivery of new homes, and that's understandable, but we don't hear so much about those homes that are already here. But by 2050, 80% of our current homes will still be in use. So it's good to build new homes, but if the current stock falls into disrepair, then all that good work could be undone. And here in Scotland, a quarter of all domestic dwellings are tenements. 579,000, 38% of those are pre-1919. In fact, 1 in 5 of all homes are pre-1919. According to the Scottish Housing Conditions Survey of 2016, 6% of all properties had extensive disrepair, 28% had urgent disrepair, and 48% had disrepair to critical elements. For example, 5% of pre-1919 properties have critical, urgent and extensive disrepair. But newer properties too need work, Presiding Officer. I live in East Kilbride, you know it well, where many of the homes were built around the same time, 70 years ago, and are reaching the end of their useful lives together, unless something is done. We're fast reaching a condition cliff edge, and if we don't act, then we are going to face a crisis. Now, it's true that owners of tenements are responsible for their own buildings. It's also true that councils have powers to get work done. I had a look to see if those powers were being used. I asked all of Scotland's councils how much they had used the powers to issue maintenance orders, work orders, or even closing orders in the last 5 years. 17 have not issued a single work notice. 30 of the 32 councils have never issued a maintenance order, and 18 have not used closing orders. In some years, including last year, as many as 25 councils did not issue work notices, which is the most favoured of their powers. There are exceptions. Aberdeen, Argyll and Bute and South Lanarkshire have made consistent use of the power, though on a small scale. Edinburgh has its own scheme, and Glasgow issued 1,300 work notices over 5 years. So apart from a handful of councils, the powers that councils have are not being used, which begs the question, why not and what is to be done? I followed up my survey by writing to all councils. I'm still collating the results and I'll release a detailed analysis very soon, but it's clear that councils don't have the money or the time to make use of the powers that they've got, and they don't want to risk not being able to get the money back if they pay for the work to be done. The RICS has called for regular tenement health checks, and I back that. It's surely right also that we take a further look at existing legislation and ask if it's fit for purpose. I'm also sympathetic to calls for factors to be made mandatory. Our aim must be to ensure that the standard of Scotland's homes is improved. We need a system that finally delivers, and that's why there will be a cross-party working group set up immediately after this debate to look at the issue in detail and to advise and help government. I'll play my part in that. I know others like Ben McPherson will too, and I look forward to collectively finding solutions.